Hold on. Did you just take that out of my cart?
The shelf was empty. I need this more than you do.
That's not how this works. Put it back.
I'm not putting it back. First come, first serve, right? You hadn't even paid for it yet.
Wow, you can't just steal from people because you feel like you need it more.
There are invisible lines that hold our society together. Silent agreements that we all sign the moment we walk out our front doors. We agree not to cut in line. We agree to hold the door for the person behind us. And we agree that when an object is placed inside a shopping cart, it has been claimed. It has not been purchased yet. True. But it has been removed from the public domain and placed into a temporary sphere of private ownership. It is the grocery store social contract. A rule so basic, so fundamental to the order of civilization, that breaking it requires a level of entitlement that borders on pathology. On January 16th, 2024, in the cereal aisle of a supermarket in a quiet, affluent suburb, that contract was shredded. The footage you are about to analyze does not show a bank robbery. It does not show a carjacking. It shows a violation of personal space and property rights that is so brazen, so casually cruel, that it leaves the viewer questioning the psychological state of the aggressor. The image captured by the store's security camera shows two women. On the left, Shanelle Pitts, a woman standing her ground with a look of utter disbelief. On the right, Claire Donovan, clutching a box of cereal like a trophy, defiant, smug, and completely detached from moral reality. This is not a story about breakfast food. This is a story about a woman who believed that her desire trumped another woman's existence, and how that belief led to her absolute destruction. Let us reconstruct the crime scene. The environment is the fluorescent-lit canyon of aisle 4. The time is 4:30 p.m., the after-school rush. The air is filled with the low hum of refrigeration units and the beep of scanners in the distance. The floor is polished beige tile, reflecting the harsh overhead lights that leave no shadow to hide in. Shanelle Pitts had been in the store for 20 minutes. Shanelle is a 32-year-old pediatric speech therapist, a woman who spends her days coaxing words out of children who are struggling to communicate. She is a person of infinite patience, a person of empathy. She is wearing a utility green jacket over a white t-shirt. Her hair is pulled up in a neat, practical bun. She looks tired. The good kind of tired that comes from a day of honest work. She is pushing her cart, which contains the staples of a working professional: milk, eggs, vegetables, and one box of Honey Nut O's, the specific brand her son loves, the brand that was on sale, the brand that had been wiped out by the morning shoppers. Shanelle had found the very last box, pushed all the way to the back of the shelf. She had reached in, retrieved it, and placed it in the child seat section of her cart, safe, secured, claimed. Then, Claire Donovan entered the aisle. Claire is 42, dressed in a heavy cream-colored cable-knit sweater and blue jeans. She is carrying herself with the hurried, frantic energy of someone who believes their schedule is the only timeline that matters. Claire is a lifestyle consultant, a woman who makes a living posting filtered photos of her organized pantry and giving advice on mindful living. But there was nothing mindful about her actions on this Tuesday afternoon. Claire wanted Honey Nut O's. She walked to the spot on the shelf. She saw the empty metal rack. She saw the price tag, but no product. Most people, 99% of the population, would sigh. Perhaps check the top stock and then move on to a different brand. But Claire Donovan turned her head. Her eyes locked onto Shanelle's cart. She saw the yellow box sitting there. And in her mind, a toxic calculation occurred. She did not see a possessed item. She saw an available resource that was temporarily located in an inconvenient place. She did not see Shanelle as a fellow shopper. She saw Shanelle as a mobile storage unit. The trigger was silent. There was no verbal warning. The camera shows Claire stepping forward, invading the 3-foot halo of personal space that surrounds a shopper. She reached out. Her hand, manicured and steady, bypassed the handle of Shanelle's cart and grabbed the box. She lifted it out, clutching it to her chest. Shanelle, who was looking at the oatmeal selection, felt the vibration of the cart. She turned, expecting to see someone bumping into her. Instead, she saw a stranger holding her groceries. The sheer audacity of the act caused Shanelle to freeze for a split second. It is the freeze response of a civilized person witnessing uncivilized behavior. It is the brain trying to process a data error. Did that just happen? The confrontation begins, and the dialogue captured by the aisle's audio surveillance is a testament to Claire's delusion. Shanelle turns fully, her body language opening up in shock. "Hold on," she says, her voice rising in pitch. "Did you just take that out of my cart?" It is a clarifying question. She is giving Claire a chance to say, "Oh my God, I thought this was the return cart." She is offering a ramp for a graceful exit, but Claire Donovan does not take ramps. She builds walls. Claire looks at Shanelle, clutching the box tighter. "The shelf was empty. I need this more than you do." Let us pause and dissect that sentence. "I need this more than you do." It is a statement of supreme narcissism. How could Claire possibly know Shanelle's needs? Shanelle could be buying that for a diabetic relative, a starving child, a food drive. But in Claire's world, Shanelle is an NPC, a non-player character in the video game of Claire's life. Claire's need is the main quest. Shanelle's need is irrelevant background noise. It is an assertion of hierarchy. I am more important. Therefore, my hunger is more urgent. Shanelle is stunned. She gestures to the empty spot in her cart. That's not how this works. Put it back. She is speaking to Claire like she speaks to the toddlers in her therapy sessions, strictly explaining the basic laws of cause and effect, enforcing boundaries. But Claire is not a toddler. She is a grown woman with a warped moral compass. Claire steps back, creating distance. "I'm not putting it back. First come, first serve. Right, you hadn't even paid for it yet." Here it is, the legal loophole of the scoundrel. You hadn't even paid for it yet. It is a technicality that ignores the entire structure of commerce. By this logic, Claire could reach into anyone's cart and take a purse, a child's toy, or a prescription, as long as the receipt hadn't been printed. It is a bad faith argument used to justify theft. It is the logic of a predator. Shanelle looks at her, eyes wide. Wow. She breathes out. You can't just steal from people because you feel like you need it more. It is a statement of moral fact, a universal truth. But Claire is done discussing philosophy. She turns her shoulder, blading her body away from Shanelle, shielding the stolen goods. "Watch me," she sneers. "Watch me," 2 words that seal her fate. It is a challenge. It is a dare. It is the verbal equivalent of spitting in Shanelle's face. Shanelle stands there, shaking her head. Unbelievable. But she does not physically engage. She does not grab the box back. She does not tackle Claire. She maintains her dignity. She maintains her composure. And that restraint is what makes her the hero, and what makes Claire the villain. The escalation moves from the aisle to the front of the store. Shanelle follows Claire, keeping a safe distance, narrating the event to the camera on her phone, which she has now pulled out. "This woman just reached into my cart and stole my food," she says, calm, clear, documenting the madness. Claire marches to the self-checkout, trying to scan the item quickly, trying to launder the stolen property by paying for it, creating a receipt that she thinks will absolve her. But she is fumbling. Her hands are shaking, not from guilt, but from adrenaline. She knows she is being watched. Shoppers are staring. A stock boy in a red vest is speaking into his headset. The atmosphere is thick with judgment. The turn arrives in the form of the store manager, a woman named Mrs. Higgins, who has been watching the monitors. Mrs. Higgins walks up to the self-checkout just as Claire scans the cereal. "Ma'am," Mrs. Higgins says, her voice cutting through the beeping of the registers. "I need you to stop." Claire spins around, feigning innocence. "I'm just paying for my groceries." Mrs. Higgins shakes her head. "I saw what happened on camera 4. You took that item from another customer's cart. That is harassment and theft. We do not tolerate that here." Claire tries to bluster. "It wasn't paid for. It was fair game." Mrs. Higgins does not blink. "The item was in her possession. You invaded her personal space. I need you to leave the item and exit the store immediately. You are being trespassed." The color drains from Claire's face. The customer is always right card has been declined. She looks at the cereal box, then at Shanelle, who is standing 10 feet away, phone raised, recording the justice. Claire realizes she is lost. She tries to pivot to victimhood. "This is ridiculous. I'm being attacked." But no one is attacking her. The security guard, a large man with crossed arms, steps forward, silently reinforcing the manager's command. Claire leaves the box on the scanner, grabs her purse and storms out, muttering about terrible service, but she is fleeing a crime scene of her own making. The deep dive investigation into Claire Donovan reveals that this was not a moment of low blood sugar. This was a personality trait. The internet is a ruthless detective agency. When Shanelle's video went viral, the serial snatcher was identified within hours. But the stories that came out in the comments section painted a dark picture of Claire's history. Incident 1. A barista at a local coffee chain posted a thread, claiming Claire once reached over the counter to grab a pump of vanilla syrup because the barista was moving too slow. Incident 2. A neighbor in her gated community shared ring camera footage of Claire moving a delivery package from the neighbor's porch to her own, claiming the delivery driver made a mistake and it looked like something she ordered. Incident 3. A yoga instructor revealed that Claire was banned from her studio for repeatedly moving other students' mats, literally pushing them aside to claim the best spot in the front row, even if she arrived late. Claire Donovan lived her life with the philosophy of manifest destiny. If she saw it, and she wanted it, she took it, and she rationalized it later. The grocery store incident was simply the first time someone stood up to her and hit record. Now, we must enter the what-if chamber. We must analyze the racial dynamics that Claire tried to ignore. If Shanelle had been a white woman, dressed in Lululemon, driving a Range Rover, would Claire have reached into that cart? The sociological answer is highly unlikely. Claire saw Shanelle, a black woman, and her subconscious bias devalued Shanelle's ownership. In Claire's mind, Shanelle's possession of the item was tentative. It was weak. It was revocable. Claire felt empowered to violate Shanelle's space because she did not view Shanelle as an equal peer in the social hierarchy. She viewed her as subordinate. If the cart belonged to a 6 feet 2 inches white man, Claire would have respected the boundary. Fear would have stopped her. But with Shanelle, she felt safe to aggress. She felt entitled to dominate. This is the privilege of the aggressor, the belief that certain people are there to be stepped over. The legal victory was not found in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. Although Shanelle did file a formal complaint with the corporate headquarters, which resulted in a lifetime ban for Claire at all locations of that supermarket chain, a significant inconvenience for a suburban mom, but the real penalty was the social exile. Claire's lifestyle consulting business collapsed overnight. Her Instagram comments were flooded with cereal emojis and demands for accountability. She lost her brand deals with a local tea company and a boutique fitnesswear line. The irony was palpable. A woman who built a career on image destroyed it over a $5 box of grain. The antagonist's ruin was a slow burn of humiliation. Reports indicate that Claire was removed from the PTA board, as other parents refused to work with someone who steals from carts. She was seen shopping at a discount warehouse 3 towns over, wearing sunglasses and a hat, trying to avoid recognition. Her husband, a corporate lawyer, was reportedly furious, not at the theft, but at the sheer stupidity of doing it on camera. The embarrassment of being the serial snatcher's spouse was a strain on their social standing at the club. Claire Donovan, who wanted to be an influencer, became a cautionary tale, a meme of entitlement. And Shanelle Pitts, the woman who just wanted breakfast for her son, she turned the moment into a movement. She didn't accept the GoFundMe money that people tried to send her for groceries. Instead, she directed it to a local food bank, raising over $50,000 to ensure that no mother in her city would have to fight for a box of cereal. She used her platform to talk about grocery store etiquette and the importance of respecting boundaries. She is still a speech therapist, still helping kids find their voices, but she also found her own. She proved that you don't have to shout to be heard, and you don't have to throw a punch to win a fight. You just have to stand your ground, hold your phone steady, and let the truth do the work. The shelf may have been empty, but the moral vacuum in Claire Donovan's soul was the real void that day. And thanks to a camera lens and a woman with dignity, the whole world got to peer into that abyss. See you in the next one.